Wait, it didn't work. Wait, did it work? Are we live? Oh, we're
It
live.
says stream is live.
What? Hello, everyone. I am Rachel Riley Villegas, and joined with me.
Hi, I'm Jen Hoffman. Welcome to another episode of Reality Queens.
Woo!
We come to you every Thursday, and occasionally, when we feel like it, pop up. But this is a big one because of Big Brother. And
we're joined today with our good friend Bobby.
Hey guys, I'm really happy to be here. Excited for this new season of Big Brother and to be a part of this. It's going to be great.
We're really excited. This is going to be the best. So I told you all I had a treat for you to make you LOL. Let's see who's here. Oh, hey, Layla. Hey, Hannah. Okay, so I have to show this treat to everyone. Be prepared. This is from our friends at Big Brother Live. You're going to laugh out loud.
Poor thing.
It's the best clip ever, right?
It's like such an obvious meme that I would never think of, but it's hilarious. Yeah.
So good. And so that to me, I like saw that and I was like, this is the funniest meme I've ever seen. I don't know.
That is amazing.
Everything.
So for Big Brother fans, I guess we can kind of do like a recap / jumping in with some observations and opinions. I have one I told you so from last week, which I don't usually do I told you so's, but I've decided I'm going to lean into I told you so.
Do it.
And then a little bit later, we have some news about Rachel, who did a very good job along with the team, but we'll hold that back. And first, yes, I'm very proud of Rachel, but first we'll talk about Big Brother because we know you Big Brother fans very much want to hear what Rachel and Bobby has to say about it. And maybe me. We'll see.
Yeah, everyone loves your opinions too. You were right. So tell us, what were you right about?
Okay. So I was going to wait until we got to an order because, I like to do it in order.
Okay, I'm not.
Who cares? I get to be right here, so who cares? So I last week when we were recording, or the last episode we recorded and did a cast reveal / talked about the AI, and I said the 17th player is going to be the AI. It's definitely going to be AI. I said I don't know whether they're going to know it or not, and some of my theories were that like they wouldn't vote it in because it's an extra player and it would have vengeance and they would never know it's happening. Because I was like, it'd be very difficult for them to vote the AI in and then be playing with an AI figure that's not there. Now I see they have a represented in that sculpture or whatever, but it still would be weird if the player was a sculpture, although they may eventually program it to be playing against them rather than setting challenges. But I knew the 17 player was AI. I was like, that's the only thing I was sure of. Everything else was confusing to me, from the bedrooms to the renderings to stuff to whatever Julie was talking about when she was like, the most different, unique cast, house, everything, concept, like, how they are about it. How Julie Chen was so off the chain about this being the wildest shit we're ever going to see. I was like, I don't know about that, but I do know the 17th player has got to be AI. So
I love that. I'm so excited that you had predicted that because that it's like one of my favorite theories I heard when you told me that. And then I have been like waiting to see if that was what was going to happen. And I'm so excited that that was actually what happened. And also I wanted to point out, because Julie did say that this was the most different season or whatever, because a new piece of tech is also going to be introduced, which is really interesting because there's going to be a hologram in the Big Brother house. She introduced us to this in the first, 3 minutes of the show. So this is actually Fairplay's friend, Newsy, has a hologram company. And this is like brand new tech. We've never seen a hologram on a TV show. Well, what do you guys think about that?
That's wild.
Yeah, honestly, I thought that was an actual person the whole time. And then I figured that it was going to be something with AI. There had to be some kind of catch in there that this wasn't a person. Because if not, I wrote down on here, this is most cruel trick that they've ever pulled on anyone, you know, in the house. I was just like, there's been some really bad first night evictions, but this is cruel having everyone vote them in. I was like, there's got to be a catch here. There's got to be something different. And then when the person turned into being an AI, if that was actual AI tech and that wasn't an actual, like, you know, actor, and then all of a sudden they act like that was AI, that was amazing. I mean, it could have been just a paid actor that eventually they did some, you know, graphics and they turned into AI.
I was thinking
so our super sleuth from Reddit did find this girl. She's a TikToker and a actor out of San Diego. So her story is real. She is from San Diego, but she is an actual actor who I'm guessing filmed 2 scripts. One if they voted her in, one if they voted her out. So I'm guessing if they voted her in, we might see that tonight. Tonight they might vote her in. But I'm thinking if they vote her in, then she's going to have a totally different script.
Right, that could be the hologram or whatever. That's a little bit of a bummer because I know there's AI out there running like OnlyFans account, that have a TikTok and an Instagram and an entire OnlyFans account that, you know, can appear visual, can be moving around in video, obviously, and can like type to people and interact with a lot of different people. And there's just AI agencies now for models outside of even OnlyFans that are becoming influencers. So they could have just either worked with one of those firms or figured it out themselves. So a little interesting that the AI person is, I was thinking the same thing as you, Bobby. I was like, that would be the coolest thing ever if this was totally an AI fabricated person. But if it's an actress, I don't know if they'll make a hologram of her. Now she's suddenly a player. If she gets voted in, maybe that'll happen. But then they still have that spinning sculpture. So who knows?
I don't think so. I think it'll be an AI. I think if they vote her in, she'll have a different script, and her script will say something along the lines of, you voted me into the house, but I'm actually an AI. And so I am now going to be this hologram that appears, which she was going to do anyways. So,
or say like she's controlled by AI, essentially, like every
like as a player coming into the game. That's what you had predicted, and that would be really cool.
I thought that's where they were going with it, to be honest with you. I thought that the person was going to get voted in, and then all of their moves had to be controlled by what the AI system was telling them to do. Anything they said, like maybe they'd have a hidden microchip or something, or a microphone in their ear, like something like that. That they'd be told by production, this is what the AI says to do.
That's what I said that week too. I was like, it's going to be AI. And if they don't get, I was like, if they're not allowed in, like maybe they'll be vengeful or fucking with them. I was like, but if they are allowed in, then they probably, because they probably will, it'll be something like I've studied, just like The Circle. I was like, that's what I said last time. I was like, I think it'll be like, this AI has trained on every past Big Brother, every winner, everyone who's lost, everyone, like every gameplay you possibly can have. So she's either going to be the person, maybe she's familiar with it, who goes and types something in, or there'll be like a producer in her ear that is AI telling her next. She probably won't say producer in my ear. She'll probably be like, I will be directly communicating with AI for it to tell me my every move. But we'll see. Maybe she won't even get in. Do you want to talk about that?
I think even if she gets voted in, I think she's going to turn into the AI and say, you just voted me into the house and now I'm going to control you, just like how it is. Which, by the way, like, isn't Big Brother already controlled by something every single season?
Yeah. It's funny because now it's just a player's moves. Like before Big Brother, everything was, controlled by producers and them deciding different things and throwing little twists in. But now the one thing is that somebody's gameplay will be 100% probably influenced on algorithms. So that's interesting.
Well, that's and
learning. Yeah, it's just my prediction. If she does come in, that it'll be similar to The Circle, where a producer was really the person typing into the thing, like this is the center, and then that computer, the little box, was spitting out like, people like it when somebody is friendly this way, and gives them a compliment. I'm going to do this. And at first it worked so well, and then all of a sudden it got super awkward and fell apart. Because it's not real people interaction. So then people were like, this is a catfish.
I was pissed on The Circle that they didn't let it go further. Like they kind of just gave up. And it's like, okay, well, hey, you know what? Actually, surprise, this was AI the whole time. Like, What the hell? They hadn't even figured it out completely yet. Like, let it go a little bit. I thought it was going to go the whole season, and like they were going to do the live reveal when they walk in, and then it's going to be a freaking AI walked in by someone. Like,
I thought the same thing. I was
so pissed. Too.
The only thing I thought is that maybe they really still wanted a human to win. So I was like, maybe eventually they'll just, because it was starting to get more obvious. They were like they were getting suspicious. Like no one talks like that. No one does whatever. So I was like, oh my God, they should just let it go until someone figures out that it's at least a catfish, and then say, okay, instead of, you going to, like instead of the player visiting you, you're all going to get to visit the player. Yeah. And then they would have shown the little like
that would have been cool. Yeah, that would have been like a really good way to do it. But yeah, I think this is going to be different because there's no way to do Big Brother AI unless it is a person controlled by AI with like an earpiece. So I think since it's not going to be that, and there's going to be the AI, and they're not going to even use AI. It's just another like gimmick because really it's still going to be controlled by production. They're not going to like go to Chat GPT and be like, what competition should the Big Brother house guests play? Like what's a twist? But I'm sure they'll have like America's AI, like whatever, like, everything will just be like, it's like a gimmick. But I do wish they would have gotten more like techie with it. Now I guess with the hologram, that's pretty cool. Do we think that they'll ever use the hologram to have the people's family, or is that too cruel as well?
I was thinking, I wonder if they're going to do that for like when you get the guest phone call from your a person visiting, instead it's a hologram, or like maybe the head of household has a hologram to consult with in their room. Like,
oh, that's cool. A hologram of like a past Big Brother player or something.
Yeah, like something like that, either a past Big Brother player or like an amalgamate, like another AI aspect where it's like an amalgamation of everyone who's ever won is there to advise them as like a hologram. I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but I swear to God, if Ainsley, if that spinning coil that turns into a robot sometime, if she does get voted in, if all of a sudden they're like choo-choo-choo and she's in the box like Mannequin, the movie that most of you guys are too young to know, like comes real and then out of the box, I'll throw my remote at the TV. It'll come
down. Yeah, if they could do the hologram, they could do like the loved one letter for the HOH with like the family member as a hologram or something too. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
I was saying, that would be so hard for the house guest, because the house guest, when you're in that house, it like, if you saw your family, I think it would be game over. Like I think I would actually lose motivation. Reading a note from them is like enough to be like, this is real. I have a note from home. My family's telling me about home. But if you actually see them, I don't know that you can actually keep it together. And we see that happen on like Survivor when the family members come. The people kind of like lose focus.
Right.
So
maybe it's like a lot of them do FaceTimes, like you get a FaceTime call, or it's just a recorded message. Like on The Circle, they do a recorded message. Maybe it'll be like a recorded message that the hologram like says. I don't know why we're spending so much time on figuring out the hologram. It's just interesting.
It's interesting because it's different. They are making it exciting and different and fun. And I don't know if it'll be any of those things, but it's fun. It's like, I think it's, something that's different that they haven't done. Hannah said, what about the upgrade downgrade twist? What do we think it could be?
So let's should we guess that, or should we just get there? Because there's people that probably
we can get there. So coming from the beginning, we get introduced to these 7 house guests. So we meet half of the house, right? So we're meeting Angela, and we meet Tucker, and we meet Chelsea, and we meet Mackenzie. Who else is in our first group?
Rubina,
that's right.
Joseph
Rubina
and Tucker.
And Chemo. Guys, sorry, is it Chemo? Is that how you pronounce his name?
I thought I said Chemo.
Chemo. Okay, that's what I thought too. I just like don't want to be pronouncing it wrong. And I mean, what are your first thoughts? My initial thoughts was that I was pretty sure that everyone from their bios, their intros are very similar. So I don't really feel like I got anything extra from them.
The only one who was a little more to me was Angela. Like she even though she says in her bio, she says that she still likes to party and she's the cool nana and mom. You don't know how that's going to present, because people might just say that. But even the comment that was made about her, that she was like freaking out every second, like she's such an over the top, so energetic, like possibly like already on some people's nerves, and like, oh my god, shut up lady. Although I remember walking around hand in hand with her, so maybe we'll be like a mom figure. But and then Tucker read such douchebag to me. Like, and what's funny is he said people are going to think I'm a douchebag, and I said maybe it's because you are, because I just was going through his Instagram and some stuff, but I actually really like him.
Oh, really? Last night I got the same vibe from him, but it was like very like a douchebaggy kind of vibe. Like, I like him, but like I felt like exactly what he said was exactly how he acted.
Yeah, for me, I always look at all the super fans that are going on the show, because, as you know, I grew up a super fan. I've been watching this show since I was little, and it just, everything I look for is, who are these super fans and how much do they really know? Because they can go in saying they're a super fan, and we all know that's not always the case. So for me, that's what I look for. As far as Tucker, people online are like going crazy about him. He was #1 in a bunch of drafts. Like, they are really high on him. And I'll be honest, he kind of drove me crazy in this episode. Like, I was like about to lose it.
Well, I agree. I get that too, Bobby. Go ahead. You say your sentence, and then I'll tell you what my.
I don't want to get too far, but just to throw something in there, like during that competition, the downgrade competition, I was about to throw my damn remote through the TV because of how slow he was going.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, do you not realize this is a freaking easy ass competition? Sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss, but like, this is an easy competition, and you were just chilling. You know, people would die to be there and just be giving it their all, and this guy is just going, laughing, kind of like making a joke about the whole thing. I was like, oh, this guy's driving me nuts.
And he spoke through. I was talking to my mom about it last night when we were watching it. He cared more about talking his way through the competition than he cared about actually solving the puzzles. Because my mom was like, this is the easiest competition I've ever seen.
Yes.
Like, you can literally look for 1 second and go run and get the thing. But he was like actually just talking his way through. And
I wonder that's because, remember, we were prepped, like even when you prep people for casting and stuff, you say, or for the game shows, they want you to narrate what you're saying, even if you can't think. Like, let's say he couldn't see it right away. Instead, he'd be like, okay, this is what I see. You know what I mean? Like, he might have been prepped that when he's not, he doesn't get it, that you don't need to do that during a competition when you're supposed to just run your ass off. But he might have been prepped that, like, if you're thinking, you're talking out loud. And then also he did say something interesting in like every interview he's had. He's brought up that like he's been through some serious stuff and some whatever, but that like he tends to go towards goofy sometimes. And he says he doesn't know where that comes from, but he's really goofy. So I'm like, I wonder if like when he either was like nervously talking it through, was told to talk it through, but didn't understand the assignment, or if that's part of his like goofy thing. But it was kind of weird because everyone else was running their ass off back and forth and just focused on it, and he was like narrating. But I'm like, God, would I narrate too? I might be that idiot who's like
well, that's what, but I mean, look, he seemed like less of an idiot because Chelsea didn't even plug her thing in. And I'm like, wait, I know how they explain the rules, and I know how like what they tell them to do. So like, I don't understand how she even ran to the buzzer. So same thing. Is it just like a nervous kind of like, this is the first competition and I have to do a good job? Or was she just like not paying attention when they were reading her the rules?
People are smart about different things. So like when Ainsley said, letting me in, I could help your game, and said, basically what was tantamount to like, there will be consequences, even though she said it could hurt you, something way more gentle. I was like, oh, that means that, I was like, my AI theory was still holding up, but even if she's not, I was like, somehow she gets to fuck with them if they don't let her in. Like, I caught that. I was like, you better vote yes, because I think you're in trouble if you don't. Yeah. So I was like, I think that is going to come into play here. I caught that, but I might remember not to plug the stupid thing in if there's multiple steps to a task.
So would you vote? You would have voted yes.
I would have voted yes because I listen now. I've been listening to so many of these shows and the tasks, and I also would listen very carefully when on The Apprentice if they gave us a task, and we also would get a dossier. It was like this really big thing, and everyone's like, "You always find the trick." There'll be something in there that like we had to do an El Pollo Loco challenge and create a breakfast bowl, but they usually don't open till about 10 or 10:30 in that location, and we were opening up at like 8 a.m. So the task wasn't just create the best breakfast bowl, it was let people know you're open because no one expects you to be open and serving breakfast. It's like, even though that's, I read it, it's like, I'm always listening to the trick, but the most basic stuff. Like do A, B, and C, then plug the thing in. I'd be like, why isn't it working? Did I get the thing? Too many steps.
Yeah, so many steps. What about you, Bobby? Would you have voted yes?
I would have voted yes because that was just way too fishy of a situation to not say yes to that. Because honestly, it just seemed like a setup. Because either one, production are a bunch of assholes, and this is the meanest, cruelest thing they could have ever done to someone, or two, there's some kind of setup here, and it's better to be on the yes side where you're allowing the person to come in than to say no, all just to keep one person from being in the house. Because at the end of the day, worst case scenario, this is real, and this person's coming into the house if I say yes. It's probably a person you can work with, or it's another target. Like, yeah, you're trying to get rid of people, but at least this is someone that could easily be used as a target, saying, oh, hey, well, they're the last to come in, so we should go after them. You know, something like that. You always have an out. And it just seemed too fishy to me. And I agree. That competition, too, was bullshit. That was the easiest competition. Why did they have the freaking tunnel things? Like, why did they have the tubes? Like, I
said that. I did this in Fear Factor and on Traders.
Traders, I remember the roaches that were being dumped. It was like a hailstorm. And I was like, even on Big Brother, they have had bugs and had to touch. I was like, why? I was like, that's so easy. Because I was like, oh God, I would lose that. I can't, like roaches and stuff like that. Like
that's what I was thinking.
I was like, no way. And then when they got to put their head in the tube and just read the thing, I was like, oh, no problem. Like,
yeah. Well, and it wasn't like, it also wasn't like, it wasn't, I don't understand because it wasn't live. It wasn't a live move-in. So the competition could have been longer. The letters could have been more hidden or something. But it was just so, I don't know why they made it so quick and so easy with the tubes. I still would have voted no. I would have said exactly what Kimo said, like, no, because that's an extra person to have to get in the Big Brother house. Furthermore, I don't think that girl would have aligned with most of the people on like that was coming in the first group. So I wouldn't have expected her to, I don't know, like she didn't seem like someone, like I agree with them. It's like she doesn't seem like someone that would align with half of the group. So why would you bring her in?
Because you can, if you know that, then you can become her special friend. Like if you're like, she doesn't really fit in here, you can be like, I'll make sure she's so welcome and fit in. And
well, the weird way she introduced herself was like, it was such, it didn't seem real either. Like me watching it as like a house guest in there having already played, I would think like, this doesn't even seem like a real person, or like, it just doesn't seem real. Like she seems like a lot like she's lying to me. Like, I just felt like it was too much of a fabricated, like, I'm from San Diego and I'm a surfer and I do this, you know, it just didn't seem real to me. So I just kept thinking in my head, like, I would have said no just because I would be like, is this even a real, is this like, she's lying to us? Like, what's the real story? You know?
I agree, but that's why I would like, kind of like what Bobby was saying. There was something fishy, like he said, there was something fishy. So I think I'd be afraid to say no. If there was no consequences and they said, hey, you just get to vote someone in, well, maybe I'd feel a little guilty that somebody didn't get a chance that could, because I feel like it's that like abundance versus, you know, scarcity mentality that you tend to do well if you like that growth mindset, abundance thing. Like, sure, the more the merrier, I'll beat you all. And also now I have an advantage because I can tell you that I was part of voting you in. So I would probably look at it that way, being like, the more people I give an opportunity, the more like I'll be rewarded. But she did seem weird and off. So like, I'm a surfer and I'm training to make surfboards. Yeah. And also, if you vote me, I can help you or kill your whole family.
Right? Yes. Literally. Oh my God. Yes, it was that vibe. Yes. It was that vibe, which also was like, I don't like when people threaten me. So I'm like, I'm sorry. What are you gonna do? Like, I'll beat you in a competition, you know?
Yeah, so, it definitely feels staged a little bit, like the way she was talking.
Yeah. And so I felt like I would have said no. I felt like the house guest that said yes, like Angela was like, this is great. She'll be like, you know, she'll want to stand out more or whatever. I think Angela would have said yes, even if it was like a different type of look or whatever. And I kind of do feel like they could have put just someone that looked a little more like I don't know, like a little more basic, I guess. Is that like a mean thing to say? I don't know.
Well, it's funny because I actually got a little bit annoyed when Angela said that. Like, oh, she has colored hair, so she wants attention. Because like, so I've had my hair pink, I've had my hair like mermaid color, it's in blue, it's been green, it's been all the things. And like, it's strange because although like I like being on TV and speaking and doing all these things, I definitely didn't dye my hair to like add to the attention. I just was like, oh, this is so cool that I can do this. And then I'm in an industry where I can. And I thought it looked really pretty. Yeah. And I just was into it. But I feel like my personality is so big that it doesn't matter what hair color I have. And that assumption is a little annoying. And especially because I hear some people like now categorize people with that hair color as like assuming they're a certain way politically, assuming they're a certain way, whatever. So there's so many assumptions made about it that even people I know in real life have like almost used it as like the new slur. Like they've been like, you know, oh, that pink haired, like feminist, liberal, you know, or something. Like they've said that, or they've said that pink hair attention seeker or something. And I'm like, I don't know. Like I just.
Well, I don't think it wasn't the blue hair. It was like the blue hair, the raver outfit, the like stuff she was saying. I think it was like the full vibe.
I thought they were trying to do like an AI-ish. That's another thing that made me suspect AI.
It was the AI look.
It was like purple, but then she had a purple shiny shirt.
Yes, it was like a raver.
Like
yes, like gamer raver.
Yeah. I was thinking like a little Lilu from The Fifth Element. I was like, is she going to be like, you know, is that just, that gave me the more AI vibes. Like she looks like she's supposed to be like robot or futuristic or like
100%, which is also why I felt like that when Angela said that, like her like standing out, like it had nothing to do just with the blue hair. But like I think if they would have picked someone that didn't look like the futuristic robot, you know, kind of look, then people might have thought it was more of a real person. But I don't know. I'm sure that is what the vibe they were going for. They probably wanted it to look like AI.
Right. Yeah, she definitely gave off some kind of production plant or some kind of production gimmick. It definitely didn't feel like a real house guest coming in. Especially, it all comes down to me on how they talk. Because the way you can instantly tell something is production, it's been like this for Big Brother for many years. They say things so monotone, and it's almost like, you know, this is who I am, and this is how it'll be. And that's not real. People don't talk like that unless you are told or fed, hey, this, because we know they tell them, hey, this is what you need to say in the diary room, or hey, can you say this or work towards this? We know that happens. So when you hear that, you just hear, okay, that's production telling them what to say or what to do. And this situation, it just was like that. It was ringing my ears. Like I was like, that's production all over the place.
Oh, that's for sure.
Cool. And they were all told the theme is BBAI right before, you know, they got in there. They were told what it is. So I am very interested, and we can get to that in a bit, but whether somebody in the second group will pick up on it and be like, wait a minute, we're told the theme is BBAI. Like, there's something fishy about her. I don't know, because nobody made a comment like that. I was waiting.
That is true. Nobody did guess that she was an AI.
Yeah, or that she's just off. Like I was waiting for someone to say that, like something's off here. Like I don't trust this, so I'm going to say no, or I'm going to say yes. Either way, but I was waiting for someone not to trust it, think it's AI, or just kind of connect the dots. And I don't know if that would make them say a yes or no, but I wonder if the second group will. But this first group was interesting. So they get in, they run around. Oh, what did you think of the house when actually seeing it? I know we've seen some videos, but seeing them get into the beds and walk around and
it was weird because we all talked about how they all the beds looked AI, and like the bar looked AI, and like that little nook looked AI. So seeing it on TV, it doesn't look AI, but like I feel like they must have touched the pictures up to make it look AI.
I think like the clouds, remember? There's no clouds, but the room is real. It seems like they put it in one of like this more like just either they digitally made it what they think AI would look like, or they really put it into one of the digital AI things and say, make this room look like a dream, or make this room look futuristic, or make this room slightly, something like, because the pictures were definitely, they were way more surreal, I think is the right word, than when you saw them actually go in. You're like, oh, it's just very, very decorated and busy, some of the rooms and some of the areas.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and we do need to get to the upgrade downgrade. So we do the competitions. Mackenzie wins the upgrade and Chelsea wins the downgrade. I have no idea. I think it's going to be food, like based on food or something. I bet the first the upgrade is like you get to sit out of the first HOH comp, or like you're automatically safe. And I bet the downgrade, it's either a nomination or a food, you're on slop.
Or it's information or like a hint. Or I also wonder, because Big Brother is notorious for doing something and then it goes away and you never hear about it again.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like the upgrade is like an ongoing thing, like this person, like remember when Kristen had to wear the hippie, or I think different people had to wear the hippie tard or whatever it was called. Yeah. That thing, like I wonder if it's going to be something like that, like you just have to wear something ridiculous and it lasts until something else, or if it's like, and that's like a downgrade, or if it's information. I am very curious to see what it's going to be, because if you had the whole house in there, you could say like, okay, the winner of all this is the HOH, or but you only have half the house in there. So
no, I don't think they'll be the winner of the HOH. I think it'll be like the Mackenzie is safe from the first eviction because she can sit out on the first HOH, or no matter what, she can't be nominated, something like that. Because they've done season after season, they love to do someone is safe from the first nomination. They act like it's such a big deal, which it is a really big deal, especially if you can be safe from the first nomination. And they love to do that. So I think Mackenzie will be safe from the first nomination, but I'm wondering what the downgrade will be.
I personally think that, yes, Rachel, I agree with you. The upgrade could be one of the two things. Either, yeah, they're safe, or two, I think the winner of tonight's competition is going to go up against Mackenzie, and the winner of that becomes head of household. So it's going to be like they're battling, the two winners battle, and then one of them will be HOH, and that's the upgrade. Or
the AI is let in by the entire group, because then they're not split into two groups. Mm-hmm. Or wait, so what's your second part? I was just being like, you can't do that if they let her in the second group. But what's the second theory?
I think no matter what, the AI, after seeing what happened last night, there's no way the AI is going to go into the house at this point, because they're just going to tell them, well, hey, thank you, I appreciate you voting me into the house, but that's what it's going to be at this point, because you already have half the house knowing it's AI. Like the other half is going to find out eventually, So I think the downgrade portion, I think, is going to be possibly either A, they're going to have some kind of punishment where maybe they're going to be an easier target for the HOH to nominate, or two, I think that they're going to be not allowed to play in the HOH competition or something like that. Like, it's going to be something where either one, they're going to be up for nomination or some kind of, easier target, or two, they're not going to be allowed to play for HOH. It's something along those lines, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think that there's also a chance that, because the competition to win was so much harder than the competition to lose,
Yeah.
I just think that it's going to be something is with the winning is going to have more power. But also that competition was really cool. I like when they do new competitions, and I think this was a new game, and I think that game was really a really cool game. It was definitely harder for I think it's harder for like poor Angela, or like, you know, it's probably going to be hard for what's Kevin, is that the older dad? Like, but I think that it's like a really cool, like a fun competition to watch, and we got some great memes from it.
Let me ask you guys this. In that competition, obviously, yeah, watching it, that competition was way harder than sticking your head in a tube where there's not even near you. In that competition, what would your guys' strategy have been? Because everyone goes in thinking, okay, well, I would have done this. Like, what would you have done in that situation going into that competition?
I mean, I would have, like, it would be really hard for me too, because I have like, I don't know, when I was younger, I could like spin around and not be affected, but now like I could barely ride a roller coaster. So I think I would have had to, like, I mean, I kind of would have had to look at the floor, like, or look, I don't know, like, I just don't think you can look at those things. I don't know what the trick is anymore.
Well, the same thing happened to me. So I used to spin and be able to go on any ride, and even like did ballet for a long time. I was a cheerleader where they'd flip me and spin me. I could spin endlessly. I didn't get whatever. But I've taken my daughter lately to, like, you know, just little theme parks and places like that. And I could still have the craziest roller coaster, even if it's looping and going nuts, that's fine. But anything that's like the teacups that swirls, I'm like, oh, like it's beyond nauseous. It's almost like my brain just starts to like be like, get me out, get me out, get me out. I never had a problem with it.
No, it's like a scientific anatomical change that happens as we age. Like your vestibular cochlea or whatever, the hairs start to like get shorter, and like it's just like everything happens. So like you can't spin around as much. And it's like, it's literally because it's your inner ear has like fluid in it. So that's when you're younger, a younger person can control that better than an older person, just like, you know, because of how humans work. But I think like there is tricks to it. So if you know a trick.
Oh yeah, the trick is to focus on one point, no matter how fast you're going, and come back and look at that point. So if you're spinning, identify one point in the room that every time you go around, you're going to try to look at it for as long as you can as the chair's spinning, and snap your head back to look at it.
Yeah, and I honestly, when I was watching this competition, I was like, just remember 6. Like, remember 6 of them, and you're golden.
That's what I thought too.
Because you're going so, and at the beginning is the slowest part of the whole thing. So you can easily remember, and they're usually 99% of the time with production, they're going to give you one of each to start. So as long as you just remember, okay, green, blue, red, yellow, they're going to give you one of each at the first 4. Just remember 2 more. Remember the order, and remember 2 more.
Once Angela was doing it and she was in the chair, I was like, okay, got this. And when I got to about 6 or 7, I started to forget the ones I saw. So I was like, stop. So challenging myself, I was like, da, 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 da. And I just repeated the only ones I knew in my head to see if I was even right anymore, because I started to get confused when I started to try to remember more. So I was like, okay, like, I'm pretty sure this is the sequence for, you know, like this many. I was like, the 4 were super easy at first. I was like, and there's gonna be 2 that, like, you know, 2 to 3 more that are a little harder to hang on. After that, it's all noise, and
it's gone.
Yeah, unless you have like some sort of like savant abilities in that type of thing. I was like, it's gonna go out of your mind. And then when
I think you can, I also think you're right, like just memorizing the 6, and I think you can also just probably guess if you forget, because there's only so many combinations. So if you can just like, it's like what's that game where you like have all the
Simon.
Yes, Simon. So it's like Simon. I always just like end up guessing half of the Simons, and half the time you're right.
I rock Simon. I can go endlessly on Simon.
I used to kill it at Simon too. I also think that Joseph had a very good strategy. Just say the letter that begins for each color. Like he was like GRBY. Like, you know, that it allows you to just remember shorter set words so that you don't have to memorize as much. You just remember the one letter and you're golden. And I think that's the best way to play those competitions. And a lot of people don't end up playing it that way.
No, that's a good point. And because the letters are so different, that works.
Yeah, it's easier for our brain to remember one letter than try to remember a sequence while remembering what to say.
While remembering what a color was.
Yeah, exactly.
How Mackenzie won with only like 5, I think it was, or 6. It was like 5 or 6. I was
they
so
each
surprised.
got 4. They the 3 of them besides Angela all got 4, but she did it in the fastest time. And at first that threw me off. I was like, wait, they all got 4. Why does she win? And I was like, oh, it's whoever does it in the fastest amount of time, which I thought was, I get why they do it that way, but it kind of annoyed me. It's like they all got the same amount.
Yeah. I guess it would be if every single person got 4, then it should have been like who remembers the most, and if it's a tie, then it's time. Because I felt the same way. I was like, well, why does that matter more? Like, imagine somebody memorized like such a long sequence that would take longer to put in. So why is you're making it go? The more you can remember, the longer your time is. So.
Yeah, I also thought that it was interesting to see how the players played this, because watching them compete when nobody else is watching, it's a lot more fun than watching them compete when they're like, I'm going to throw the first competition because I don't want the house guests to think that I'm a threat, you know? Yeah. So I liked that because I felt like now we at least know, like, are they good or are they bad? You know what I mean? Like, the people always say, I was trying to throw that. And I'm like, but were you trying to throw that? But this time I felt like we get to see the people playing. And if they said that they want to like do well, I think that they all tried. Like it seems like they all really wanted to do well. And I liked seeing that. I also really like Chemo stood out to me a lot. I really liked his personality. I thought he was really fun to watch. I like that he's a super fan. Like so far also, like I thought that Cam had a great personality. I was disappointed in Chelsea because, you know, she didn't plug the thing in. So I was like, and then she also like, I felt like she talked herself up too much, but then like didn't back it up. And I hate when people do that. I do that all the time, but like, I hate when people do that too. Probably because I do it all the time. And then Rubina, I thought she was playing to the camera a lot.
Yeah, it could have been nerves too, because she had that whole like, that like, don't mansplain anything to me, don't do this, like kind of like tougher. But then that's what she says about herself. But then a lot of her videos and the way she was acting towards people was like more warm, more bubbly, more like. So I wonder if like she naturally is. I wonder which way is natural. Like, is she pretending to be nicer and bubblier, or I wasn't sure about her.
I think she's also the camera. I think she's probably like a nice person. What we see with her with the interactions with the house guests is probably real. But then when we see her, like some of the DRs that we've already seen and some of the like things that she said are playing to the camera. So I think she's probably trying to like, she has a little bit of that like comedian, like I want to be a comedian kind of thing.
She's 100% going to be a production favorite. Like she's doing exactly what production brought her in to do. She's funny. She's, a ball of energy, and she's 100% trying to work it on camera to get her airtime. So I get it. I totally understand that some people, that's what they're there for. I mean, at the end of the day, they probably don't think they're going to win. So at least give me my 15 minutes of fame and let me, be popular,
That's a meme, because she's trying to get her memes. Yeah, I like
exactly.
Yeah.
So
we don't hate on a girl if you're getting the memes.
Exactly. I can't hate on it. It's some people that's what they want to go in there and do. And if that's the case, go for it, girl. Like that's all you. But I agree. I think it's definitely a played up version of probably who she really is. But I don't think it's a complete, fabrication of the person that she is either.
Right. So it's like I always say with every reality show, the winner, except for the money. I mean, Jesus, like $750,000 is a lot. So that is a big deal. But at the same time, everyone was like, the winner of the show is not usually the winner. In certain circumstances, they are. but a lot of the time it's the real winner is the person that stands out the most, gets the most like play attention, gets the most out of it. Like Omarosa never won The Apprentice. She was on the regular one and she was on All Star or the celebrity one, and she lost big time. She only went about halfway through. Like I think she like went out the same number I did. Like I was in 9 out of 14 episodes and out like 8th, 9th. I don't remember, but I was in most of it, but went out towards the end of the middle. And so did Omarosa. And she's the most famous person ever. And a one woman like Oprah Prince Omarosa, and she's never won. And there's a lot of people like that on a lot of shows. I mean, Fair Play always complains about how he never won, but Fair Play like will never be forgotten for the grandma dead thing. Like he's just so notorious. Like, you know, so it's like you don't have to be the winner to win. So I guess you have to weigh out what your chances are. You're like, do I think I'm really going to win this? Or do I want to be like, everyone knows me because I'm a meme and friendly and funny, and I want like my life to be going to meet and greets and getting paid to do stuff on TikTok for this? Or do I care about focusing on being like a competitor and winning?
They could be the next Kyland. Do you know Kyland, Jen?
I didn't see his season. I only know about him because of his lawsuit because of the AI.
Oh, right. That's true. True. Well, no, I'm talking about because he is like on every single like show now. Like he went on Big Brother, and then they put him on like The Challenge, and then they'll put him on like anything they can put him on. They just love Kyland. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we definitely talked about. I forgot when I brought that thing up when we talked about when we were talking about I think an article that was about how people are treated on reality TV. I think we brought up the thing about Kyland and the AI issue, and then you guys were like, well, it doesn't matter because he's on every show ever now, so there's plenty of like he's just doing the rounds.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, you just have to be memorable. If you're memorable, you'll have longevity, especially in reality TV, especially now that we have shows such as, The Challenge and The Traitors that are just pulling from all kinds of places. It doesn't even matter. You'll probably be on another reality show within 6 months.
Oh, but 100% at this point in the game, that's like what you want to go for, I guess, because now there's so many different networks pulling from people too. So you can literally just go on to be on a different show. Hannah asked what Brennan thought of the premiere. He really thought it was fun. He liked it. He doesn't like the AI twist. He thinks it's gonna be Saboteur 2.0. He literally
feels that way.
It does feel that way. It kind of does feel that way. So Jen, Saboteur was my season of Big Brother, the season 12, and we got the Saboteur out in the very first eviction, and the Saboteur was supposed to be this player that gives us the could sabotage the game or whatever, but we got them out right away.
It was now, and I covered your seasons. Remember, that's when we first met.
Annie.
First time you and I ever met is when I interviewed you in the backyard of the. Yeah, and now I don't even remember who it was.
Annie.
Oh, right, Annie. And it's funny, Annie, because I ended up living with Kristen.
Yeah.
For the season for a while, Annie came and visited us and stayed with us, and I totally forgot that she was a Saboteur.
Yeah, so I think it was a fun episode of Big Brother. I'm excited to see this episode tonight. And I'm excited for the live feeds. I think the takeaway from day one was we got to see some intros. I do like that they split the intros up, but I don't like a 2-day premiere. I would rather just give us a 2-hour premiere. Yeah, and I was also why was it only 60 minutes? I thought that was weird because I thought they were doing 90-minute episodes for all their shows now.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, same.
So I don't understand why they did a 60-minute episode. It felt really short, and I felt like there was a lot that we didn't get. So I didn't like that. I would have liked a 2-hour, both bring in the second group in the second hour. And if they were so, don't want to do 90-minute episodes or whatever, then I guess give us the live feeds right away, right? Because I feel like now there's so much that we missed. I have so many questions. We have so many questions.
I totally understand. Oh, one thing before if we're going to switch gears, what do you guys think of Tucker going into the house first and him not being worried about the curse of the
first house guest? I like that.
Yeah, I love that. none of them wanted to go in. Like you can
Angela,
tell.
Angela switched to the first of all, Cassie held the door and was like, after you.
Yeah.
And then once Angela realized she was about to be in first, you see her switch and get behind. That really quickly. I laughed out loud at that. I was like, that's so funny.
It's funny that the house guests are aware of that.
Oh, 100%. Everyone knows this at this point. Like, this is just a meme at this point. Like, if it were me, I'd just hold the door. Like, you hold the door, you're golden. You can't be blamed for anything. You know, but yeah, but we've seen it also. I believe, who was it? I'm totally blanking as a super fan. I should know this, but there's someone who won the season. I think it might have been on Big Brother Canada. I don't know. There's someone who's won the season who walked in first at this point. So I think the curse has been broken, unless I'm mistaken. I'm totally forgetting.
No, I think you're right, and I think it was Big Brother Canada because I think it was. I don't think it was Big Brother US.
Yeah, I'm blanking on who it was, but I'll have to watch it now, and someone's gonna roast me in the comments for that because I should remember that at this point. But hey, I've taken a year off from podcasting. Give me a break.
Right? Okay. All right. Before we switch gears, I wanted everyone to stick with us for 40 seconds, and we'll be back.
Coming to Cary's Coca Booth Amphitheater, it's the legendary Roots crew. That's right, the Roots are coming to Cary, North Carolina, Friday, August 30th. And they're not alone. Special guest Macy Gray. This is benefiting the KYAL Cancer Fund, so get your tickets now. That's right, go to etix.com. That's ETIX.com. Or come to the venue box office. It's Coca Booth Amphitheater in Cary, North Carolina, Friday, August 30th. The Roots. See you there.
Okay, I want to go.
So fun. I made that commercial yesterday, so I'm glad to see my work is actually yeah. So I'm auditioning to be a Fair Play's lead producer. So
I like that.
One of my assignments.
Well, hey, you were right. The super fans are going to zing you because we have a chat from Steven.
Thank you. So, yes.
Yeah. Tamar walked in on the first Celebrity Big Brother. And she won the show. So
that's what it was. Yeah. I was like, I know it's somewhere.
Yeah. So we have some exciting Emmy nominations. Before I get to my humble brag, I will go with the best outstanding competition host. Of course, we always have RuPaul. We have the Shark Tank. We have Alan Cumming from The Traitors, who I think is totally deserves this. I was surprised he didn't get the Emmy nod last year. I think this is from Top Chef, the person in the lower corner, I'm not sure. But then Jeff Probst, 13 years apparently. So that is very exciting. He has not ever been nominated, which is crazy.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know
he been nominated for 13 years or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
First time in 13 years. Yeah. So I think that Alan takes it home because
I hope he does. It's like he's like doing like masterpiece theater, like
honestly, right? And the costume changes, like the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I hope he takes it home.
As much as I love Alan, I agree. I think Alan is probably the front runner. Has Jeff ever won one of these? Because if he's never won, he's beyond due.
I mean, Survivor's won before though, right? As a show.
Survivor's won Emmys for
so he has production producers.
Yeah, that's just wild.
Yeah,
that's wild.
That is true though, because he's an iconic host of like American history now. And if he hasn't won or been nominated, even I would understand maybe he didn't win, but if he's never been nominated, that's very strange. He's like mainstream, been around forever, and
he did win in 2008.
Oh,
okay, all right.
Yeah. Okay, it says he reacts to his first Survivor hosting Emmy nomination in 13 years. So Survivor's won 63 Emmys.
Jesus.
So yeah, outstanding programming, outstanding sound, outstanding cinematography, outstanding competition show. So I guess so he has won awards. He's a 4-time Emmy Award winner for outstanding reality host.
All right, give it to Alan.
Yeah, give it to Alan. Give it to Alan. And then the category, oh wait, what's casting? So the category for Outstanding Reality Competition Show, of course, The Amazing Race, we always see them. RuPaul, we always see RuPaul. The Voice is always up there. Top Chef is always up there. This is the first time Traitors has entered the category. Again, I think this is a highly deserved Outstanding Reality Competition. Emmy nod. I think that they are up there with the best shows, from cinematography to production to games to like just everything, sound mixing, all the things. I think that Traitors is up there with the best as well.
I feel like they've changed the entire landscape of reality TV and made it, a dramatic, cinematic, high quality, high production, high style, high fashion, high everything. It's just like elevating the bar so much. And it is probably, to me now, one of the most fascinating shows I've ever seen. I instantly got sucked in and obsessed with it and wanted another episode. Like immediately I wanted another season. Like, Traitors killing it as always.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about all these. I think Traitors has a good shot to win. My Emmy nominee, like I'm in the Academy, so I get to vote. So I'm obviously voting for Traitors. But I do think that all of those shows could win because they've all had really great seasons. Mm-hmm. So I do think that it is going to be kind of up for grabs. But I do agree that like Traitors has elevated the cinematography part of reality TV so much, and the storytelling and everything. So I think that there is I would love to see Traitors win, obviously. Now, best casting.
Congratulations, Rachel.
Pop the champagne. Do all the things. I'm so excited. I was like really, I don't know, like I feel like we knew that The Golden Bachelor would be nominated for casting. But like, so Jackie is the head of casting and she's like, always in the group chat, we don't know, like you never know. But like, I mean, I felt like I knew that Golden Bachelor would be nominated. So we're nominated up there.
It's difficult, right? It's difficult to find that balance. I mean, it's like one in a zillion when you're casting something like a Love Island, because there's especially because they have international players. There's so many Gen Z, young, don't care, want to be on camera. Everybody wants to be on TikTok, like that generation. They're already doing that. But to find people over 50 that are looking for love, which there are millions of people over for 50 looking for love, but that are willing to go on TV, that are going to put it all out there. They're going to be compelling on TV, and then just finding them because they're not as online.
Yeah. Well, and finding the stories, like every story that was told, we found the stories in casting that were told throughout the season. So it was like, when you do casting, like a lot of your job, like you said. So yeah, if I'm casting Love Island, it's just be hot, like whatever. But like when you're casting a show like Golden Bachelor, we did a lot of like, the questions were like, tell me about your ex, tell me about your spouse, your spouse died, tell me about that, what's that like? You have 10 kids, tell me about that, what's that like? Like, these people have so much history and stories and wisdom, and like we got to like pick all of these stories out so like they would really be seen by the network. Obviously network makes final decisions, but like part of this season for casting, like which we did on the Golden Bachelorette as well, you really get to know these people on a deeper level because we do go so deep on story with them. And we went so deep on just like finding like everything about, from their grandkids to their kids, to the jobs, to the everything. So it's a really unique show. And I'm really excited that it got nominated for, and it's the first of its kind. For an Emmy for casting. We're very excited. So Squid Games is up, The Amazing Race, RuPaul, Love on the Spectrum. Again, all amazing shows that had amazing, beautiful seasons. So the stories we were telling on all of these shows were really touching. So I think it's going to be up for grabs for whomever. But like Squid Games, I don't know.
Squid Games, they probably got up there for sheer volume of casting.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn. the like, you know, the Mr. Beast one that wanted like 5,000 people or whatever, like they'll probably get nominated just because they did it. That's like, you did it.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Who does that? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
Steven
said congratulations, thank you, and so did Hannah. Thank you so much. I mean, we're like really excited. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It's exciting to be like part of now that they take reality TV more seriously too, I think. But yeah. So also, you know, the Vanderpump Rules got nominated for an Emmy for, let me see, I'll tell you right now what it was for. This is the Emmy for Outstanding Unstructured Reality TV Programming. So Vanderpump Rules is up for another Emmy. There's a lot of like really like interesting Emmy nods this year, and I think I'm excited to watch. They're in September this year. This past year they were in January because of like everything moving around with strikes and all that stuff. So now they'll be back on the September schedule. Did you want to talk about should we talk about casting, because we have some good casting?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Speaking of coming from somebody who just got nominated for a casting Emmy, we want to give people the casting notices of the week. Great.
Casting notices of the week. So, all right. So Squid Games, the challenge is casting. And we think, like, I would say the best way to get on Squid Games, again, is to have a big personality, to talk about why you want to play the show, why you're a big fan, and to just kind of like go for it. Like, don't hold anything back. And that's a show that it is a little bit harder to stand out in. So you're going to really want to show a lot of your personality to make sure that you get camera time through casting and also when you're on the show. Jen, does anyone else have any good casting advice for that?
Go ahead, Jen.
Well, they need a lot of people. So in a way, this is one where you can get away with not needing to stand out as much by being like, I'm the most outgoing, I'm the whatever. But if that's not naturally you, then be who you really are. Like, I'm sneaky, or I'm competitive, or I would throw somebody under the bus in a heartbeat, or I make friends very easily. Like, I'm shy, but I make friends easy, or I get scared really easily. Like, you know, like if it's not going to be big, bubbly, like I'm going to be one of those people that gets known as like arrogant or loud or friendly or like the leader, then you can say, you know what, I'm a bit of a follower, but I've been successful because I know when to keep my mouth shut and when to speak up. Like, basically have your strategy, like tell them what your strategy is going to be. Yeah. And if you don't have a strategy, then it's all personality.
Yeah, 100%. And like, it doesn't hurt to come ready to bring it. And it doesn't hurt to come ready, like dress to your character for this. I know I don't normally say that to people, but for something like this, you might want to just kind of do it because you want them to immediately recognize like what character type you're going to be and all those things. And then also like with Squid Games, you want to have your strategy, but you also want to have a game plan for how to get camera time, because that's kind of a thing on Squid Games. You know, you could go on and you're one of like 450 people. So you need to make sure that you have a strategy for how to get on, and whether that's a story that you need like to figure out and find and tell. We all have a story. We all do. So whatever your story is, like figure out what that is, and that's how you're going to want to tell it. So for some reason, my phone's not airdropping this, but the Date My Ex show is now casting. There, so you can see it. Date My Ex, it's at datemyexshow.com. This is a Jesse Tannenbaum show. So they're looking for divorcees that like their ex. So I guess it's like I think it's a dating show mixed with like, it feels like a little Golden Bachelor-y, but for maybe people that have been divorced. And maybe, I don't think you have to be older. I think it's just like, you know, maybe people from like their 40s to 60s kind of thing. It doesn't mention age.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, and that's all I'll say. But I wonder if it also can be like your baby's daddy, like somebody you have a child with but didn't end up with.
Oh yeah,
you co-parent really well, and you're like, you know, we got to get him a woman because we didn't work out, but he's a great dad, or this, you know, like so like divorce, long-term relationships, because now like, you know, half of millennials, whatever, they don't get married, but they live together for a decade or forever without actually getting married.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, divorce, somebody you have children with but never married, or maybe somebody you had a very long-term relationship with, and like it was like heartbreaking that it didn't work out. So you really want to see them happy, like that kind of thing.
100%. And I think it does mention that they want someone with an adult child. So I'm guessing it is like a family kind of show where they're probably, and they want them to have unique and amazing relationships. So I'm guessing they want to bring like, this is my ex, but we're best friends. And I think you need to come up with that story. I also told a lot of people when I do these dating shows, I'm like, well, when you're talking about your ex, never say bad things. I have to coach people on that. You'd be surprised all the time. So for this one especially, you want to definitely make sure that you talk very positively about this person, even their flaws. So Stephen wants to know, what does unstructured mean? It means like a docu-follow. Like it doesn't have like, it's not like a format show, right? It's not like Cake Boss, where every single episode there's like, you know, one episode's going to be this, you know, restaurant or cake that they have to make, or Big Brother, where it's like a competition game show. So, right. It'd
be like 90 Day Fiance type of the way they film theirs.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And as for me, I've never been on reality TV, unlike you guys. You guys have the experience and know what to do. I applied for Big Brother 17, got to the semifinals, and that was about as far as I ever got in my reality TV journey. But I'm actually auditioning for this next season of Survivor, because at this point in my life, with a wife and a kid, there's no chance in hell I could ever do Big Brother. So, and responsibilities, there's no way I could give up that much time of my life. But Survivor's now a thing, so I'm gonna audition for that. So I've been, talking to a lot of people that I know through podcasting that have been on reality TV, and a lot of times what they tell me is just, be yourself, but be an upgraded version of that. Be an extenuation of yourself. What the best part of you that's going to bring out and show to these producers of who you can truly, be, and what kind of character you are. Because at the end of the day, it's a character. You're playing a character on TV that has to entertain people. It really, matters for the producer's job, for the casting director's job, and it matters for you to be able to get on TV. So at the end, that's what they tell me to do. So I can't help. I've never been on. The only other thing I did was the rehab sequester, and that was it. So you guys are the professionals.
That's pretty far, though. So to get that far does show you that, like, first, now you have the experience of like going through that, and that's how many people apply to that show. Like that might be one of the most applications ever. So to get that far, it's like that's a pretty good sign for something like Survivor.
I got extremely lucky. I think in the group I was in when I went to the live audition for Big Brother, I think I got extremely lucky with who I was with. And I honestly thought my semifinal, where they tape you in the hotel room, Rachel, you probably know what I'm talking about, where I thought that went great. Now, I had a couple of errors production-wise where they got like my email and information wrong, so I had to go hunting for them, even though I knew they told me I got picked, but the production assistant got my email wrong, so I never got the paperwork that they're supposed to send you, and it was like the night before, and I was like, they still haven't sent this, like, what's going on? I can't tell anyone. I know I got picked. They called me, but they haven't sent me anything that I'm supposed to fill out. So I was freaking out. Had to end up filling out a lot of it there. It was a mess. So I wonder if that, made that situation into what it was. But it was a cool experience. I'm glad I got to see how that side of it works. So, in the future, I know what to expect a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. And I think Survivor is very similar for casting. They do steps and rounds and all the things. And you're right with the character. That's why I said, like, I hate to say it, but on Squid Games especially, you kind of want to come dressed as your character. You know, like as much upgraded character as you can be. Like,
yes.
If you're a, buttoned back mom who's a librarian, you might want to wear pearls, look like how I look today. But if you're like a cocktail waitress from Vegas, come up wearing a sequin dress. Like, you kind of want to just play it up a little bit more for a show like Squid Games when they're just like seeing so many people and it's such a quick casting process. but yeah, and in a Survivor, always whatever stands out as your personality traits that are like you want to play those up.
Yeah.
Oh, so I interviewed Mark Burnett and Jeff Probst separately about what they're looking for in casting and who they cast. So if people type in Jen Hoffman and Mark Burnett or Jen Hoffman and Jeff Probst into YouTube, those videos will come up. I interviewed Alison Grodner, Big Brother. I interviewed Mike Fleiss, the creator of The Bachelor. Arthur Smith, who did The Swan and a ton of other shows after that. I just don't remember which. He was so famous because The Swan was so controversial, but like it's A. Smith Productions is behind so many different things. So there's great casting tips on that, and that is with realitywanted.com, which was all that. It was a reality casting show and news website. So they did give some good tips, and Mark Burnett straight up just said what he looks for, and then Jeff Probst also is part of the casting process, so he says what he is looking for. So yeah,
I love it. So I have to go because I have to take my mom to the airport. But it's been so much fun talking to you guys and hanging out and stuff anyways. So join us again next Thursday. We will be back here at 12 o'clock-ish Eastern time, and we'll be, posting and sharing all the information with you all season long on Big Brother. We're going to do live feed updates. So we're trying to figure out our schedules, but keep up with us and we'll let you guys know.
And thanks for joining us so much, Bobby. You were super fun. And this was so awesome. Fun.
Thank you. Yeah, no, happy to be a part of it. I appreciate you guys. And it's just awesome to have Big Brother back.
Yay! We're so excited too. All right. Okay, guys. Well, we'll see you later. Thanks so much.
Bye.